chapstick, or water. You know what to do. If you don't know where you are, this is Gregory the Podcast. I'm your host, Gregory, and I've got something to say. So we're going to kick the show off a little bit different, and we're going to call this segment, Everybody Shouldn't Have a Mic. The other day I came across a post and said, notice how they have Father's Day, Men's Health Awareness Month, Juneteenth, and Pride Month all in the same month. Protect your masculine energy. And while some of you can see this as a joke, some of you see this as serious, I'm just going to touch on this just a little bit. Because I am, after all, a dog dad, and I have a father who I have a really close relationship with, so happy Father's Day to my father, my forefathers, and all the participative fathers out there. We love you, we appreciate you, and we need you. As far as Men's Mental Health Awareness Month goes, go talk to somebody, a professional preferably, but that's if you need it. Find a professional who works for your lifestyle, who fits your needs, who fits your comforts, please. It doesn't make you look weak. You're doing this for the betterment of yourself and for everybody else. We appreciate it. As far as those who celebrated Juneteenth or commemorated Juneteenth with their families and you knew what it is for and what it was about, happy Juneteenth to you all. And of course, happy Pride Month to the girls, gays, and theys, the she's, hims, and thems. Ow. Hey, boo. And with that, let's start the show. So, after last week's episode, a couple of you took a keen interest into the usage of the Bible passage I had planned. And I was planning to jump right into the power of the tongue, and I thought we'd take a second and slow it down a bit and explore some of the cornerstones of the podcast, explain how different our spiritual paths can be, or it can look even from that of our siblings or close family members. I thought I'd take a minute to discuss a place where my faith lies. I like to refer to it as the crossroads of my faith, where faith, God, hoodoo, and music have met. So I want to tell you a story, and it's going to be through the lens of 8-year-old Gregory. It's the first time I went to church. Now, forewarning, many of you, as I'm telling this story, are going to pick up on a few little things like anxiety, overthinking, a little ADHD, but focus on the experience, because although it was overwhelming, it was really enlightening. Now, upon walking into the church, I immediately noticed the fellowship, the hierarchy, the seating arrangements, the secrets, the shame, the coach behavior. Now, of course, we were seated and the pastor began his sermon and told us where to find it. We all went rustling through the pages, some faster than others, obviously, and silence began to descend and you could hear less people searching. Now, I really have no idea why pastors like to pull this little jokey joke out, but they always do. Anybody still searching? You must don't know your Bible. Now, of course, 8-year-old me is thinking, and don't, because who and where is Matthew? Because I cannot find it. Never having the courage to say that, quite frankly, I had never had these experiences and that I didn't know how to use the tools of the religion, i.e. church and the Bible. They were all new to me. When I lived with my grandmother, this isn't something we did often. So instead, my parents were like, you don't need a book, just sit and listen. And obviously at this point, I'm over it, because even then I knew that if you want me to pay attention, I need to participate. Because once I decide I no longer care, it's really like, that's it. And I'm not one of those, I'm unbothered, I don't care. No, it's more of like you've been written out of the script, your existence no longer matters, I don't care. So now I'm sitting there, and time is doing what it does for kids who either can focus on only one thing or kids who can focus on too many things at once. It literally drags on. And I mean, when I say the instant disdain I catch when someone yells, "Take your time, Pastor," it really infuriates me, because it's not his time he's taking, it's mine. Now, as an adult and a slightly seasoned spiritualist, at this point I understand every message ain't for you. You're not meant to receive every message from everybody, and simply put, everybody's path may not be organized religion. Now, I gave less than 2 shiny nickels about the sermon that day, but when the pastor got that good rah in his voice, and I mean it's special, it can be duplicated on the internet, but everybody doesn't have the gift. And the perfectly timed music, I was alert, I was alive, because what is this? You could literally feel the build in the room before they broke into full praise and worship. Now, to know me is to know that my absolute favorite language in the world, besides sarcasm, is music. Now, when the drums got to going, the choir was singing, the hands was clapping, the feet were stomping, and the shouters were shouting, I was tuned in. I was here for this. And to this day, I believe that music will do what the sermon could not. See, what I learned that day is my personal relationship with God wasn't found in or defined by the church or through speaking in tongues or the Bible. For me in particular, that relationship has been cultivated continuously through my love for music and, in my later years, my life through Hoodoo. I say all this to say your personal relationship with your higher power is just that. It's personal to you. No one can give you the clues on how to walk the path. Many of you would be surprised to know that Hoodoo has brought me down the path that allowed me to cultivate a relationship with God while simultaneously fortifying my faith, not just within God, but within myself. And on this platform, God, Hoodoo, and music will be there forever and always and be referenced. So, hope you stick around and see what's next. Now, while I understand the topic this episode was a little bit heavier, let's have a little bit of fun and get interactive with this, right? So the question is, if you were at a concert with your favorite artist and they pulled you up on stage, what would be the verse or the song that you would know word for word? You could body it, you'd be giving full performance, the crowd would be hype. For the Spotify girlies, there'll be a question box for the rest of you. You can either hit my Instagram or something like that until I figure out how the other platforms do the questions. But make sure you guys answer the question below, because if you don't know where you've been, this has been Gregory the Podcast. I'm your host, Gregory, and that was my something to say. Thanks.